Hi everyone, welcome to yet another live Q&A. I'm still waiting for the stream to go live, but if you can hear me, if you're already in the chat, do let me know. And how's the audio? Last week it was a complete mess, but hopefully the audio will be better this week. Yeah, seems like the audio is fine, at least for now. But if at some point the audio goes off or there are again drops, so I will take a look, but seems like everything is working fine. Thanks, Rupa, for letting me know. Good to know that it's working fine at your end as well. Okay, so we will wait for a couple of minutes and we will let people join, and then we will start taking the questions. I'll let you know if it drops in case, but there's chat lag, so you may get the message few seconds late. Yeah, okay, thanks. And yeah, there are always these lags when it comes to chat. Sometimes it's like 4 or 5 seconds lag, but then sometimes it's well over 10-second lag. So um, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so we will wait for a few more minutes and see if anyone would like to join and have questions. I see a few people joining, but I don't think I'm seeing anything in the chat. So it could be because of lag or something, but we will wait. I usually wait for uh, 5 to 10 minutes. And if there aren't any questions, then we call it a day. But yeah, I wait for 5 to 10 minutes just to give people some time to join. If you've already joined and if you have any questions, please let me know in the chat. Yeah, I can see a question coming up. Hi. Hi, I'm learning Python and aspiring data scientist, but I don't have CS degree. I completed BSc geology. I mean, that's fine because data science is a very interdisciplinary course or domain. I have seen a lot of people coming from a lot of different backgrounds, and they're able to successfully transition into a data science role. So I don't think that should be a problem. And actually, on the flip side, as you're coming from a different background, most likely you will have much better domain knowledge about your previous domain. So that always helps. So you'll be able to acquire some technical skills, and then you also have your domain expertise. So you will be a very good fit in that kind of environment as compared to someone who just has technical skills. So yeah, I think it's perfectly fine. And if you want to be a data scientist coming from different background, uh, you don't really need to worry too much about it. No problem. You're welcome. Yeah, let's wait for 3 more minutes and see if there are more questions. I was trying to find a timer sort of thing. Maybe if we can just add a timer saying that the live stream will end in so much time, so that people will have a visibility of when the live stream can go off. And then if I want to increase the timer, I can always increase the timer. So yeah, I think it would be a really good feature. I don't think it is there, or if it is there, I don't know. Yeah, I can't seem to find that. I definitely have a button which says start break. So I'm going to click it for a brief moment just to see what happens. Right. So it just gives me an option. So it just gives me an option to select how much, I mean, what should be the duration of the break. So 135 minutes. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Post your question in the chat. I'm still here. Today the health stream is also looking quite good so far. So seems like the internet has become a lot more stable as compared to what we had last week. So maybe it was just the internet, but I do remember there were a few things in the streaming application as well, because of which the audio was a complete mess. But I changed those things and seems like the audio is working fine so far. So that's good. I'm still in basic Python, like I have learned till oops now. People say learn in public. Should I learn in public? I'm still in too much basic. I don't know exactly what you mean by learn in public. Uh, Maybe if you could clarify a little bit more on that, I can answer your question. And if you're still learning object-oriented programming, that's fine. And it's good to know object-oriented programming, but if you're just starting out, I think you should focus on the core concepts of Python, like functions, package management, error handling, file handling, different packages like pandas, numpy, cbon, sklearn, those kind of things. And if you start to get into machine learning, you will be using sklearn, but if you move to deep learning, you'll be using TensorFlow or PyTorch. So if you focus on those things first, that way you will be able to start building projects related to data science and machine learning. So I would say doing that would be better, but yeah, if you choose to continue to learn object-oriented programming is definitely helpful. And in fact, it's good is because these days lot of data science related roles, they ask for software development sort of skills, and with object-oriented programming you will be able to gain those knowledge as well. So I would say yes, you are still on right track, but I would say if you want to speed up the process, you should do both of these things in parallel, because I'm assuming you would have covered your basic Python like functions, conditional statements, looping statements, file handling, error handling, those kind of things. Right. So what you learn from open source material. Yeah, I definitely recommend that as well. So if you are someone who is just getting started and don't have too much knowledge about data science, I think it's important to first learn from open source material. There are a lot of content available on YouTube or LinkedIn. Try to learn from those places. Even on my channel, it's mostly towards projects and stuff, so it's going to be helpful when you are actually starting to work on some projects. um, Internal temperature high, allow to cool down. Not sure if you can still um, see me or hear me. I think you can still hear me, but the camera might have gone because it says internal temperature is too high. So I will try to switch my camera from my camera to my laptop. Wow, the quality is so bad. Yeah, so I will just use my uh, laptop's webcam, which is pretty bad, we can see, but seems like my camera's yeah, so my camera seems to be hot, so it needs to cool down. Well, it's actually quite hot here, so it's understandable why the camera is hot. So I will just switch switch to my webcam, and I will just use this camera for now, even though it's bad. Yeah, coming back to your question, I would highly recommend you to use open source material. There are a lot of content available on YouTube. Try to learn from them. And if you feel comfortable about some of the concepts, and if you still enjoy working on data science projects and the concepts that you are learning, I think then you will be in a very good position to maybe switch to some paid courses. So yeah, um you should use open source material first. Or after LinkedIn completing Python, I should active on LinkedIn and start posting about learning. Yes, having online presence definitely helps. If you can make posts about what you are learning and what you have already learned, and if you work on a project, showcasing your project on LinkedIn and GitHub, it is definitely recommended. So you should do that. Didn't know even London can get hot. Yeah, London can get more hotter than where I am. So I am in Durham, and it is relatively better as compared to London. But last summer, I think, last to last summer, we went to London and it was extremely hot. So yeah, right now the temperature in Durham is 23 degrees Celsius. It doesn't sound that much, and yes, when you go out it's not that hot, but when you are inside, and I have also kept the windows closed just to keep the noise levels low, it just gets little hot inside. So quite understandably, I think the camera is too hot, and also I get direct sunlight from the window, so for some time the camera was in sunlight, so probably because of that also it became a little hot. How should I plan my studies in UK? I will begin my MSc Data Science in City, London in September 25. Like, what should I do while studying, and how can I use my university at fullest? I quite recently made this video where I talked about do's and don'ts, where I talked about quite a lot of things. So I will put the link in the chat. And it's a long video, 22 minutes video, but I did talk about a lot of things. And if you try to do all these things, uh, you should be good, and you can definitely improve your master's experience. And I'm pretty sure I would have talked about in that video as well. And some of the key things, just to summarize: try to find internship as soon as possible, go to meetups as much as you can, try to make good connections, make good relationships with your batchmates and professors. So those kind of things. So yeah, I would highly recommend checking out this video. Learning Python from Code with Harry course and data science course of Harry. Yeah, Code with Harry channel is good for Python programming. I don't know about data science. I haven't really uh, seen his playlist or course, so can't really comment on that. But his channel for general programming is definitely very good, because when I was learning JavaScript quite a while ago, I did watch his videos. So for programming, his channel is definitely good. need to stay hydrated, and I recommend to stay hydrated to everyone as well. Very quickly, I will just switch off the camera and then I will turn it on again. Camera will probably stay switched off. Yeah, so I think today it's camera issue. So I will continue to use my laptop's webcam. So one day it's audio issue, the other day it's camera issue. But I think this temperature is just too much. Hopefully in few days time the temperature is going to be okay. How should I pick my electives? So one mistake that I did when I was doing my masters was that I just looked at the course module and assignments and stuff, and it looked okay, and I took cloud computing as an optional, but essentially it was just brief overview of what cloud computing is, which I already knew, and the project was basically analyzing a data set, and the data set was basically the usage of cloud computing, how the organization is using, how they can optimize their resources and things like that. So it wasn't very helpful. So what I would suggest is, once you have a list of all your um, electives, and I think you have mentioned here computer vision, natural language processing, advanced database, reinforcement learning, go through the modules and also talk to the module leaders and try to understand what they are going to cover in that module. And once you have a very good understanding about all the concepts that are being covered and the assignment, based on that you can always make a decision um, based on what you like and what you would like to do. For example, computer vision and natural language processing both have a lot of use cases. So if you have to choose one, you can choose one depending on what you like to work on. If you like visual data set, then maybe computer vision is for you. If you like language processing sort of things, then NLP is the way to go for. If you already have knowledge about databases, if you know how to create relational database, you know about schemas and stuff, then probably you won't. Again, I don't know exactly what they're going to cover in advanced DB. So depending on what they're going to cover, you'll have to make your choice. Reinforcement learning is definitely getting some popularity when it comes to training large language models, or even any multimodal stuff as well. So if you really like reinforcement learning, you can pick reinforcement learning. Information retrieval is again important. So it depends how many electives you can choose. Usually I think you can choose 2 to 3 electives, but sometimes universities have less number of compulsory modules, so you can choose a lot more optional modules. So depending on what they are covering and what you already know and what are your interests, you can choose one or the other module. If you have more information, feel free to share. I can probably help you. If you can't share it here, I mean, yes, of course, you won't be able to share it here is because chat is quite limited. So I will put down my email address. You can always post some details there, and then I will try to reply you there. Or if you are there in Telegram group, that would be Telegram group or Discord server, you can always ping in those groups. Yeah, so you can send some more details on this email address, and I will try to respond to your email. Won't CV and NLP be more difficult? Also, my modules don't have pen paper test except advanced TV, so should I avoid pen paper test or they are good? So I went for Newcastle University specifically because they didn't have any written exams, because I personally don't like written exams. I prefer being evaluated based on the projects that I do and the work that I do. So not a big fan of traditional exams, but if you have traditionally done very well in those kind of exams, and if you don't mind, or if you in fact like those type of assessments, then you should definitely go for it. In terms of difficulty, yes, they can be difficult, um, but I don't think difficulty should be a criteria to choose whether to go for a module or not. Because if you, for example, don't choose computer vision and natural language processing, and then if you start to apply for jobs and if they start asking these skills, and if you don't have it, then eventually you will have to learn these skills anyways. So why not spend some time now in your coursework and try to pick up these skills? So yeah, I would say you will still have to pick up these skills at some point. And if you think these are going to be difficult, then most likely other things are going to be difficult as well. For example, machine learning or deep learning. Yes, if you just want to implement some algorithms, just do a data science or machine learning project using package and stuff, it might not be that difficult, because all you need to do is ask ChatGPT to create a proper pipeline, and then you can attach your data to that pipeline, and hopefully it should work. If you're downloading a data from Kaggle or some other sources where the data is a lot more cleaner, but you have collected your own data, then it will be a lot more difficult to just get everything straight out of the box. So yes, this can be difficult, but other concepts can be difficult as well. Hello, I am computer science fresher. Can you tell me things to learn to start freelancing? I tried HTML, CSS, it was not good. I started linear data structure array in C language. Don't know what to learn for freelancing. So when it comes to freelancing, there are different things that you can do specifically from programming background. If you want to get into web development, then I think it's better to uh, know a full stack development, and JavaScript frameworks are a lot more popular these days. So you can probably use React or Next.js for front end. If you know that very well, that would be good. And then if you want to go full stack, then you can learn about express.js, node.js, and you need to have knowledge of database as well to store the information. So you can use MongoDB for that. It's a NoSQL database. So if you learn all of these things, you will be a full stack developer. And if you work on some of the personal projects and create a nice portfolio, then you will be able to get some really good freelancing projects there. With just HTML, CSS, yes, it can be slightly difficult because there are so many freelancers these days with really good amount of knowledge of full stack development. So that is about web development side of things. But if you want to do something in data science, then the skill sets are completely different. So you may have to first choose what kind of services you would like to provide as a freelancer, and then depending on that you can pick up some knowledge. And also if you want to provide some services, if you already made your mind, go to freelancing websites like Upwork and stuff, check out the profiles of people who are in similar space and see what kind of skills they have, and then you can try to learn those skills. Sure, I will try book a session once I have more detail. Yeah, that sounds good. That would be even better, I think, because then we can have detailed discussion. How should I approach natural language processing? I believe it will be better. Yes, it can be better because I think ever since these large language models have come, it has completely transformed this space, and there have been a lot of new use cases. How should you approach? I think dealing with textual data can be tricky at times, cleaning it, managing it, and uh, vectorizing it and things like that. So that is a bit tricky thing to do. Not saying that it's very hard, but it's just tricky. It's not a traditional tabular data, so all the tools and techniques that you learn to work on a tabular data may not work for textual data. So you may have to treat the data slightly differently. So you can start probably working on text classification. That's probably going to be the most basic type of project that you can do, and you can do that using traditional machine learning algorithms. After that, you can start to learn deep learning side of things, sequential models like LSTM, GRUs, things like that. And once you have understood those things, and if you implement those algorithms for same text classification on textual data, by that time you'll have a very good understanding of how to deal with textual data. Then you can start to look into Gen AI side of things, like how to use large language models, what are different techniques like RAG approach, agentic RAG approach, or fully RAG, fully agentic AI approach. So there are a lot of different ways you can implement things. So that way you can probably take things further when you want to learn more about natural language processing. I do have a video about data science roadmap, so I will put that in the chat. So in this video I have talked about right from the beginning, so you might already have quite a lot of knowledge, but when it comes to Gen AI side of things, I have divided it into two sections. One is computer vision and the other one is NLP, and I have explained both of them in slightly more detail as to how to approach and what all things you need to learn if you want to specialize into one or the other domain. Do sponsorship here cover spouse as well? Like if a company sponsors my current dependent, will I get covered as dependent then and wouldn't need sponsorship then while applying for jobs? So if your partner has a sponsored job, then you don't need to have a sponsorship to apply for job. So Yeah, I would say that's how it works, but you will have to separately apply for dependent visa if company has already not provided it to you. So you may have to uh, so when your partner is applying for their skilled worker visa, you need to I mean they need to talk to the company and see if they can include your visa as well at the time of applying for uh, his visa. So yeah, if you both apply at the same time, then once you have your dependent visa, then you won't need a visa to work in the UK. Well, you don't need sponsorship to work in the UK. Yeah. My university have international students exchange program. Will that help in getting better jobs? Yes, definitely. If you're able to make use of it and if you're able to study abroad or in some other country, it definitely helps because you get exposure studying in other country and you learn a lot about that country. And if you are able to find some internship in other country while you are enrolled in your course, it's definitely going to help. What kind of questions about modules and assignments and assessment I should ask from my program manager? What kind of questions? So first thing is if they can provide you detailed list of concepts that they are going to cover in that module, that is something which you really need to understand. And then what type of projects they are going to cover or what type of projects you'll have to work on, because they don't really cover projects in the UK, so you'll have to work on those projects independently. But obviously if you will have some issues, you can always ask your professors, they will definitely help you. So those are the two things. Apart from that, you can also understand or try to understand what is the teaching methodology. Are they going to go through all the PPTs and stuff, or they're going to provide you all the materials like recorded sessions and stuff, and then you'll have to go through them on your own and then you can ask questions. So how does that work? And different type of assessments, of course, like is it a project based assessment or written exam or presentation based, and also you need to inquire about report writing, how many words you need to write in those reports, so things like that. So if you ask these questions, I think you will have all the information about a specific module and in general the whole course as well. And also if it's a programming based module, it would be good to understand what programming language they are going to use. In some universities they use R programming language, but in other universities they use Python programming language. Wow, we are already 40 minutes and I didn't even realize. So far, if you are finding this live Q&A helpful, please do give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. All right. Right, I got another question. I thought we are done with all the questions. We need to select our own project and submit, or they assign it. So if for dissertation, you can either choose your own project or they can assign you project if you don't have your own project. So that's how it works for dissertation. But for different modules, you will have projects assigned to you. But even then, they have multiple projects you can choose from. So at least for Newcastle University, it was like that. So they are, for most of those modules, specifically for machine learning, deep learning, and things like that, they had multiple projects, and then you can choose to work on one or the other project. Yeah, each module will have projects associated to them, and you can work on those projects. Well, you will have to work on those projects in those modules. You can't choose your own project unless you have a very good use case. And if you propose that to your professor, I think they will definitely be open uh, for you to work on that project. When can I say that I have completed JavaScript? Also, it will be my second year and I'm still doing JavaScript. Like, um, like I did array recently. What else are there? I won't say that I am proficient in JavaScript, but I think it works just like any other programming language. So if you learn all the basic constructs of JavaScript, like conditional statement, looping statement, error handling, file handling, those kind of things, I think you should be good. But then I think there are a lot of other things associated to JavaScript, like DOMs and stuff. So if you start getting into those things, then you will start to get into advanced side of things. So I would say once you feel like given a basic problem, and when I say basic problem, these are mostly coding challenges. So if you go on Lead Code or HackerRank, HackerEarth, you will find a lot of different problems there. So if you try to solve those problems using JavaScript, and if you are able to do it confidently, then I think you can say that yes, you understand different constructs of JavaScript, and then you can start to get into some advanced concepts which are required to build a web application and things like that. So I think that's how you can probably assess your JavaScript skills. These projects are also called courseworks. Yes, it's kind of like well, coursework is not just projects. It includes everything: report writing, covering all the modules that are there in your course. So all in all, whatever you are learning in your masters, everything is considered as coursework. But projects are a part of coursework. That's how you can say. How is the job market? Do you have a job? How is the job market? Job market is not really that great when it comes to number of jobs. When compared to last year, it's definitely a lot less. But then I think in past year or so, a lot less people have also come to UK. So the competition is also, um, I won't say less, is because when you look at number of people applying for a job, it's still the same what it was before, because now the number of people coming to the UK is less and the number of jobs are also less. So the competition is still the same, competition is still high, but definitely the number of jobs are a lot less. Do you have a job? I don't really have any openings in my company where I'm working. So no, we don't really have any openings at this point. In fact, um, there is hiring freeze in the company where I'm working. So currently, no. How different C++ than C? When to say that, okay, I have like much and it's enough. Um, so the only difference between C, C++ is that C is a functional programming language and C++ is object-oriented programming language. Having said that, you can also do functional programming in C++. So if you know C or C++, it won't be that difficult to pick up the other programming language. But if you know C++, I think you should be good. Or if you know C and if you want to learn C++, it won't take that much time, because in my bachelor's, the first programming language they taught was C, and then the next programming language they taught was C++. So after learning C, I didn't really have a lot of issues picking up C++. And again, if you want to test your skills and say that I know a particular programming language, the best way to test it is to go on lead code or any other programming platform which you like. Try solving some easy questions, then medium questions, and then difficult questions. And then if you're able to solve them without much difficulty, you can always Google and stuff to see how things work. But if you're not facing any issues in terms of building a logic and things like that, then you can say that you know a programming language. Also, is data structures and algorithm still applicable with web development? Yes, definitely, because when you're working on a web development project or a web application, it's very important to understand different data structures and algorithms, because it's very important to handle the requests that you get on the website and be able to serve those requests in timely manner. In some cases it's okay to wait for a little longer, but in most of the cases, if a user is interacting with a button or a form, it needs to be instantaneous these days. People have a very less patience. So yeah, to be able to speed up those things and handle those requests properly, and in what format you should store those information, I think it's important to understand DSA. And it's not just for web dev, I think for data science as well, it is becoming very important to understand which data structure to use and how to optimize your code. Are you guys watching or following England versus India test series? First match didn't really go that well for India, but I think second match, Shubman Gill did a pretty good job. And in third test as well, it's going okay so far. KL Rahul is about to hit a century. Full stack or just front end or just back end, as I people say, just do one thing and not all. Um, you can definitely do one. I think it totally depends what you like. If you like building beautiful UIs and stuff, then you can go for front end. But if you like to handle the dirty side of things, as they call it, you can go for back end. But um, having knowledge of full stack is definitely very helpful. And these days, there are a lot more developers in the market with um with full stack knowledge. So if you are competing against them, then it can be hard. But if you become a really good front end developer and you have a lot of good knowledge and you can build really beautiful UIs with a lot of interesting animation and stuff, then I think it would be hard to beat you for someone with full stack development but not very good front end development. And same goes for back end as well. So yeah, it depends. I would say start with one and try to be as good as possible in that particular domain. And then once you feel comfortable, then you can start to pick up some skills from the other side. Yep, India is doing great. India is too balanced. I agree. If one thing doesn't work, another player helps. Yeah, definitely. They did a very good job in terms of bowling as well. And now they are doing a pretty good job in batting. Okay, we still have 8 minutes to 1 o'clock or 1 hour. So I can still take a few more questions, but if we don't have any more questions, then we can definitely call it a day. I do know there is a lag in the chat, so once I say something, I try to wait for little while just so I can see some response, and in case there are any more questions, so that I don't miss those questions and I answer them before we end the live Q&A. All right, I think we don't have any more questions. Thanks everyone for joining. I hope you have a great weekend and happy learning. See you in the next one. Bye.